Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 30th Plympton Board of Selectmen meeting. I think because pretty much everyone in the room has heard our ground rules, we'll dispense with repeating them tonight. Maybe one or two of them, though. We're certainly trying increasingly to make the townhouse a hospitable place to encourage volunteerism. We certainly are encouraging civil discourse. As well, there are many other ground rules, but the one I enjoy most is maybe our efforts at patient urgency of getting things done, but with a particular style, and also that though we fully understand the seriousness of the work that we do, if we can bring along a little joy and laughter along the way, we're thrilled to do that. So I'll leave out the other ground rules. We do start with just a few moments of silence, which we will do now, maybe to just quiet down from the busyness of the day, maybe to prepare ourselves for the work we'll do this evening, maybe just for some gratitude for the opportunity we have to serve the town that we adore so much. So just a few moments of silence. So again, welcome everyone. We have the community compact to sign this evening, and we want to get right to that because we're thrilled to have our state representative Tom Coulter here and our brand new senator Michael Brady, and we're thrilled that both of them are here tonight. And in the interest of their time, we'll turn it over to them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Christine, Colleen, good to see you both. I want to formally introduce my colleague, the new Senator Michael Brady. I'd like to say that Plympton has the best of both worlds. You've got Tom and you've got Brady. And that is the first time I've said that anywhere.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that. It's the first time.
But not the last, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I got a laugh, so you know me. If I get a laugh, I may use it again.
Until last night, though, we had a tough loss of Patriots here last night.
That's right. That's right.
But we blame it on the officiating anyway.
That's right. We're New Englanders. Of course
Exactly.
we still remember Bill Buckner. Folks, I want to come in here. I was privileged to represent Plympton because Christine's GPS broke.
I went to the wrong place.
I was letting you off the hook.
I know. You don't have to.
On the 19th of November, when Lieutenant Governor Polito came down to recognize Plymouth, Plympton, and Middleborough and Wareham for their community compact. And I was able to share with them what you've done in terms of planning with respect to capital planning, cash flow, operating budgets. And I noted in that presentation, I think importantly so, that I came from a small town of Avon, which is about the same size as the town of Plympton. And so when you don't have a town manager, you rely upon the elected officials, the boards and the committees to do very, very important work that is done by well-paid professionals in other communities. And I can tell you the Lieutenant Governor was very, very impressed with the work that I know that you led. You led the way at everything, Christine. So I want to thank you for that. It's important. It's not just an honor. You get points for having a community compact. And in those points are calculated every time you apply for a grant. Plympton, we were just pleased to announce, was awarded the Mass Grant for the completion of the entrance on the way to Cisco. That would not have been possible without this community compact. It was directly related. It was the quality of the application, the demonstrated need, mainly safety of that entrance, and quite honestly, the work that you did, Christine, on this community compact. So you should feel very, very good about it. We can use those points every time we apply for a Mass Works grant or any other type of state grant, and I want to congratulate you for that. At a future date, Mr. Chairman, the Senator and I would like to come back and update the community on the business of the Central Plymouth Water District. It's been a very, very tumultuous year, but I want to give credit to the committee members, the commissioners, who have made great progress in terms of water management practices that will lead to cleaning up on Ponset Pond. And I will say that the presence of Senator Brady, a citizen of Brockton, involved with this process. We grouped together last week at a meeting at DEP on this issue. has gone a long way in terms of bridging the gap, in terms of communication with the city. In short, it's a simple issue whereby the city has got the legal right from a 1964 piece of legislation to take 11 million gallons of water out of Silver Lake, and nobody is disputing their right. It's also their responsibility to use water management practices that preserve the quality of those bodies of water, Stump Brook, Silver Lake, and Mont Ponce. And through a very much enhanced communication with Paul Collis, the chairman of the committee, and Senator Brady and myself, I can tell you we're making great progress. Everybody is understanding the other side's position, and so we're making some progress. At a future date, we'd like to get on the agenda and give you the details of what level of negotiation we're in right now and what actions have been taken. So with that, back to the community compact. Mr. Chairman, if you would sign on behalf of the town of Plympton next to
Let me come on around there.
the Lieutenant Governor's signature. And if you would, use the pen that was
Use the
used.
special pen.
With
This was the pen that the
fancy pen.
Lieutenant Governor used in signing your community
Okay.
compact. Christine, nice work.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming down, too.
Congratulations.
We
We
appreciate
will
it.
say we are just very appreciative. You are exactly right. We do not have a town manager or a town administrator. We're a little town of modest means. We have to be as creative as we can. We have to be as frugal as we can with the tax dollars. And so these grant opportunities are very much appreciated, and we very much appreciate you guys because we well know that you are representing us and representing us well.
I'd like to add, Mark, I forgot to tell you this. When the Mass Grant application was submitted, as you know, we lost our dear friend, Senator Kennedy, in the middle of that process. It was Michael who called the Senate President and asked the Senate President to write a letter for us because Senator Kennedy had passed and we didn't have representation by the Senate. So the Senate President did write that letter at Michael's request, and the rest speaks for itself.
You know, can we get one picture with the three?
Sure.
I want to tell you one thing.
And Christine.
Oh, that's all right. I don't need the photo.
Yeah, the selectmen should be in it.
Come on, ladies, come on.
No, this is,
We'll
I
be
call back row.
We'll be above the fold on
you
this.
guys get in the middle, we'll get on the ends.
Yeah, give them a
We'll put the rose in the
Hey,
middle.
Mark, you should know, Michael said to me in the way, and he says, Tom, you have jeans on. Is that okay? I said, wait till you see Mark. Try to do it from the waist up so you don't see the chin.
Absolutely.
And hide my gut too while you're at it.
Well, then I cut off half your face, Representative. There we go.
My face, it's a big face.
Well, some of the
I think
grants
we
are
got
as big as this
Awesome.
certificate is. We'll be in
Yeah,
excellent shape.
and-
He
Thank
says
you
that
so
about
much.
his, I was at a fundraiser that my committee ran for last spring.
Remember you're on camera here.
It's okay, and my daughter was pregnant. And the daughter was my daughter said, can you just pull your tummy in just a little bit? I said, whoa, time out. She's pregnant. Sir, we're talking to you.
That's funny.
I said, sir, we're talking to you.
That's great.
Well, congratulations, guys.
Thank you. This will go a long way in helping us clean up or create some financial
The
policies.
representative mentioned,
That's
you know,
great.
we did lose a great friend in Tommy Kennedy, and the representative has brought me up to speed tremendously with the whole issues going on relative to the water issues and so forth, and also Mike King from Tommy Kennedy's office was able to keep on my staff,
Same staff.
who's been very active down here, so any help we can be. We've been friends for a long time, even before I became a representative. We've known each other. My brother is a selectman in Avon, so known his Tom's family as well as myself, and worked together on a lot of issues prior to me getting in the state house, because when I was a lot younger and thin, I was on the city council of Brockton. I had lots of gray hairs back then as well, but I've been very fortunate. We've had a great relationship, and we will continue to do that. And again, any help we can be, please don't hesitate.
Thank you.
It'll
We
be
appreciate
fun
that, and
and
we will take you up on that.
And way back, my brother, before he became a selectman, Avon, he used to deliver bread for Superior Bakery to all these towns. So I used to go on there, and I worked the night shift, paying my own way to Massasoit, that third shift, then I'd go on the route with him and sleep halfway down in the back of the truck, and then I'd deliver bread to all the stores down here, so we knew each other long before even long before Walmart was in Halifax, and the Cumberland Farms was brand new back in those days
Yeah.
and everything else, so. And I used to have some relatives in the area, but they're all from the World War II generation, so a lot of them unfortunately have passed on.
First time I brought him to Plympton, he was nervous, he was afraid of all the trees.
It's like
You'll get used to
Well,
it.
that's like the old saying when they moved out of Boston down to the South Shore. Geez, what's this thing called, the garage? You have garages and parking spots and everything else, so.
So this stays with us, doesn't it?
Yes,
Beautiful.
that's yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Appreciate
And
it.
have a Merry Christmas, everybody, too.
Thank you. You too.
And just a reminder, Christine was the one that really initiated and did a lot of the work on this.
It's a
We
team
are very
effort.
appreciative. And, yeah. All right.
Yay.
All right. Well, that was the celebration for the night. Now we have to get to work.
Exactly.
Okay. So, a couple of things. First of all, the agenda has been published. Any additional items anyone would like to consider? Unofficially, we have a couple of, we may end up doing the agenda a little out of order. I expect Susan Ossoff from the Finance Committee at 6:30, and then I did invite in Jim Mulcahy concerning the highway surveyor position. He's not sure he can make it. If he can, he'd be here probably around 7:30.
Sure.
So,
I did have one addition, under minutes, when we go to approve those, I
Yep.
have the last minutes from the Public Safety Building Committee meeting.
oh, okay, great. So that would have been 2 weeks ago, so that would have been
The 18th.
18th. Okay, November 18th, public safety. Hopefully we'll get there before tomorrow morning. All right, so big agenda, so we'll try to be crisp and zip through these things as best we can. First order of business then, permission to excavate the Columbia Gas on 37 Oak Street.
Is that in the correspondence?
It hopefully is, yes.
Columbia, okay, 37 Oak Street, to install new gas service. Looks like it's half the road, 4 by 6 by 25.
Okay, everyone, so I've had a chance to look at this, and I'm glad to make a motion that we grant permission to excavate.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, something to sign? No? So
No.
I guess, Bree, you'll just let them know. All right. So, we have a bunch of permit renewals, the common victualler license renewals, one for Village Cafe, one for Just Right Farm. As I understand it, neither of those renewal applications has been received at this point. So we'll save that for another night. I, of course, when we get to that, will recuse myself from any discussion of, or from any action as a selectman on Just Right Farm. So we have 3 liquor license renewals. And as I understand it from Bree, she sent the application information out by registered mail?
Certified mail.
By what?
Certified mail.
Certified mail, and you feel like we've gotten everything back and they have fulfilled each of the 3, all the documentation that's required?
Everything.
Okay.
Do you want to sign at the end of the page?
Have we had a
Because
chance
I
to?
have the pages all marked for you to sign
Okay.
for all of them.
So it is Plympton Gas and Convenience.
Correct.
And that's a full liquor license, isn't it, for all?
That one's full.
Yeah, that one's full. And then we have Plympton Convenience and Liquor, which I think is just beer and wine, isn't that
Yes.
one, a beer and wine? And then we have the Upland Club, which is a full
Yes.
license as well.
All right,
And then once
so,
those are all done, and then I also need you to sign the actual liquor license themselves, and all the documents from that will go in with this to the
The
ABCC.
ABCC? Okay, gotcha.
all right, so we have to sign each of these pages?
Yes, yes.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so maybe we should do them individually.
Yep, let's go one at a time.
So the first one is the Upland Sports Club. I make a motion that we approve their on-premises liquor license renewal.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. licensing authority, so that's probably us. Um, Official use, do not write in the space. Selectmen's office. I think I'm signing there.
Yeah, we would need, but Bree can fill that in, Plympton,
I'll
and
fill-
the
I'll
license
fill all this
number.
stuff in.
Actually, so while we're working on that, why don't we vote on all three? So, you want to make a motion on
Sure.
the next one
And just
before you?
check approved.
Okay,
All right, I'll make a motion that we grant a renewal license to C.A. Kang, who is doing business as the Plympton Convenience and Liquor Store.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
And lastly, I'll make a motion that we approve the renewal license for Steve Craig, doing business as Plympton Gas and Convenience.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Actually, this is city or town, which would be Plympton.
She can just wipe that out and then
You can sign it and then I'll put next to it.
Plympton.
I
Okay.
won't write anything and then I'll.
I actually don't see it for something here to sign.
Pardon?
I think that one marked
I don't
just
think there's
signs.
something to sign.
Okay.
Last year's.
It has a
was
blue slip
a
on it.
blue slip on it.
Yes, blue slips,
Blue
I
slip
saw
means
it.
everybody, yeah.
signed. Copied everything from last
There
year.
you go.
Okay,
All right.
all right, and these are approved.
Liquor license. And Bree, we have also the target and trap shootings.
We do.
Okay, so we'll get to that momentarily.
That's the range permit.
So we'll just make sure we get all of these
Do you
done.
want to sign that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I need the last
And then
one.
Colleen needs to sign that one as well.
And this one goes your way.
Okay, all right, so Selectmen's Office, you got that one. And
Riveting television, huh?
all right, so
And
that
Joy
one
needs to sign
is
here.
complete. Joy.
Christine.
Oh, that is Joy.
Sorry.
Oh, this one, for the full license, looks like we all sign that one. Oh, there it is. You gotta sign here too, Mark.
Okay. And you have to sign that one.
The label on it?
All
You
right. Oh, I
circled
signed
some-
that one.
You
Yeah.
circled plumbing inspector.
That's usually the spot for the selectmen. Why the heck?
Other would be select.
Yeah. Let's just cross it out and do other. That's weird. All right, so we got that
Is it
one,
for me?
that one, okay.
Good.
Okay,
I think we did it.
we did it.
So, we also have a permit renewal for the Upland Club target and trap shooting permit. Um,
All right, so that's yours, but we don't have to sign
No
any of
shooting
that, do we?
before 10 a.m. except Sundays
Do we have
and
to sign this?
holidays when starting time is 11 a.m.
That's for those little.
So I make a motion that we
all sign it.
approve the Upland Club target and trap shooting permit.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So you'll fill in the rest on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, Mark, we all three need to sign this for the liquor license, the two, where the two yellow tabs are. Thanks, Colleen.
Double checking what you're signing.
Well, just the dates. Perfect.
And the town.
and the town.
Okay. We'll get on momentarily to more business. Making good progress. Okay? Got all three?
Yep,
Very
perfect.
good. All right, next
you.
item, townhouse holiday closing schedule. Christmas, New Year's each fall on a Friday this year when townhouse is closed, and it has been tradition therefore to give the day off before or after. So the recommendation would be certainly the townhouse would be closed on Thursday, December 24th, and December 31st. There has been some mention within this building that in previous years, there was an earlier closing on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve as well. And so there was there was the request for consideration that we would close early, not only that on Wednesday as well. I think the way this is set up this year with the holidays coming on Fridays and giving Thursday off, that it makes sense to be open the regular hours Wednesday, which would be until 2 p.m., so the citizenry would have the opportunity to do business as they need. So I'll make the motion for discussion that we plan on the townhouse being closed December 21st and 31st with regular hours the preceding day.
24th and 31st?
Yeah.
Second.
Any
And this
fur-
is what we've done?
In the past, we've given the day off before.
Okay.
Sometimes when, for example, if Christmas came on a Thursday, then we closed a little early on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve as
Okay.
well.
And they had the Friday off.
And
Well,
they had
have
the
it
Friday off.
anyway.
So it seems to me it's a shortened week anyway. It's a 4-day weekend, and I think this balancing the needs of the town employees and the needs of the citizens of town. I think this is a fair way to go.
So it would be then paid day for all the full-time employees, and that's it, and then part-time is just nothing? Would that be your understanding of how it would work?
No, I think.
Or would part-time,
part-
if they were regularly scheduled to work
On
on
Thursday,
Thursday,
they would
that
be
they would be
paid.
paid for it? Okay.
Yes, exactly.
All right, and there's money in their budgets to cover this, I would assume. It's just one day.
Yeah, well, I think it's probably in the budget anyway to be working that week, so I think that
Okay.
that should be fine.
Okay.
So I think we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, so for the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, townhouse will have regular business hours. It will close the 24th and on the 30th.
31st.
31st. Essentially, townhouse will be
Sorry.
closed New
My
Year's
calendar
Eve
fell away as I was
and
saying.
Christmas Eve.
Perfect. Okay,
And
thank
be
you.
open normal hours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for this week. Got it. Thank you.
All right. So the next item, which is a citizen's request for video recording of finance committee meetings, I think we'll wait for the chair of the finance committee to come in, and as soon as she comes in, we'll take care of that. Okay. Couple of citizen complaints. We did receive, or actually the Board of Health did receive, a complaint about dumping at the corner of Route 106 and Sheffield Park. They passed that on to the selectmen, feeling like that would be more our responsibility than Board of Health. I have called the complainant several times with the number that was offered to us over the weekend. There was no answer. Bree tried late last week, and I think the phone was out of order. I tried numerous times today and received a message that the phone wasn't in service, so can't really pursue it as much as I'd like until we can speak to the complainant, and so I'll keep pursuing that and try to deal with that.
And perhaps just a reminder that if you live in a development and you want to put things out for free at the end on the main road, perhaps you should check with your neighbor or not do it, just put a sign that says, you know, free items down this road or something, and put them on your own property.
On your own property, it seems to me that fairly frequently you see these announcements on Plympton helping Plympton, and that's
Yes.
a way to get the word out.
Right,
Yes.
without putting it out on the street to begin with, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna check on that
I will.
and carry it to next week?
I will keep trying to reach
Okay.
the complainant and get a better idea of who might be involved, and I think we can simply have a conversation and reminder of the issue and take care of it. Along the lines then of citizen complaints, good news on this one. Maybe about a year ago, I received complaint from a citizen on Brook Street about quite a bit of noise coming from Cisco, trouble sleeping in the summer with windows open. We began a conversation about trying to define better what the noise was, when it happened. I spoke to the several people at Cisco, ended up speaking to the president, Chuck Frazier of Cisco Boston, and we ended up about several weeks ago, the citizen who had concerns and I were invited by the president of Cisco for a tour of the place. We walked around outside. We better identified what the noise was. Number one, I'll say, what an amazing facility.
It is an amazing
What an
facility.
amazingly efficient operation. But we clearly identified that most of the noise were from the backup alarms. Honestly, I expected nothing would come of this and that we would hear that Cisco wasn't able to do anything about it. I will emphasize that along the way, in discussing this with Cisco along the way, I made absolutely clear that yes, we had citizen concern, and equally we understood the importance of Cisco in town, and how much we appreciated them to be here. Out of this came an email to me from the president of Cisco, who let us know a few weeks ago that all the yard trucks had been converted to a new white noise backup alarm system. And further letting us know that that is the most aggressive thing they can do and still be in OSHA compliance. But I'm actually quite thrilled that they were responsive to our needs in this, and I have since I tend to be up at a very early hour in the morning, have sat over there recently. This is Joe used to do this all the time. Joe Freitas would walk right around the town at 3 a.m. to see what was going on. But it sounds the backup sounds are much less so. So I'm appreciative to the citizen that brought up the complaint and was sort of patient as we worked our way through getting it done. And I'm particularly appreciative of Cisco's responsiveness on this. So hopefully that'll help a lot for the citizens that live near there. And
Question.
Mr.
Sure.
Chairman, could you define white noise a little bit more, or describe what the alarms sound?
I can only say that this is what Cisco let us know that they had signed up. He called it a new white noise backup alarm, and I think it's.
Have you heard?
I was over there early this morning, and the vehicles that were backing up, even right next to it, I could barely hear them. So I am waiting to hear from the citizen.
Is there a safety concern that?
Pardon?
Is there a safety concern that you can't hear the backup?
I mean, I was outside the actual perimeter. They felt comfortable that they were still fulfilling OSHA requirements. best I can say on that.
Well, that's awfully good of them to do that, because it is an OSHA requirement, and I'm surprised they did anything, to tell you the truth. That's
Honestly,
fantastic.
I had expected nothing. I was really,
Yes, the huge number of trucks they have.
I mean, I have to say, I was just really impressed that the president of Cisco spent an hour and a half with us. He's really proud of the operation, and rightfully so.
Yeah, it is an amazing operation.
All right. So there's that. We got the citizen complaints. Okay, review of townhouse weather closure policy. So we made this last year just so we could be a little clearer on, wow, she's got a bunch of edits.
Oh, I've got lots of notes on
All
this
right,
one.
so actually, and, so why don't we hold
Let's
off
hold
on
off
that
on
for a
this
minute. We welcome 3 members of the Finance Committee. We'll give them a chance to take their jackets off and get settled a little. So this item comes out of an email that was sent to the chair of the Finance Committee and to all 3 selectmen. And this is a citizen of Plympton requesting that upcoming finance committees be filmed and broadcast on cable TV. And so we welcome the Finance Committee to hear what they have to say about this.
Okay, the private citizen is John Henry, who wrote this email and sent it to me, and which I forwarded to the rest of the Finance Committee. When the building was kind of reconfigured, when John Henry was the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and that room was, the big room was redone for the selectmen with the podium that's not handicap accessible. There was no space provided in the building for the Finance Committee. So we started out, we ended up down, we had been in with the accountant, we got moved down to where the building department is. We do our meetings with the lights down, because we try to do paperless meetings and we project stuff on the screen. That didn't really work for them while they're meeting with people coming in, trying to get building permits and stuff, and also the talking of the 2 months was confusing. So the town clerk offered us, and although it's referred to as a closet in Mr. Henry's email, it's actually the sort of small conference room in the back of her office, which was really nice of her to do, because I'm sure she needs the space. So we meet in there, and it can be difficult when a lot of people come in for our department meetings, but we've had people from the public come. They have always been able to sit in. We've never not had enough room. So we're not meeting in a closet. And in terms of us being filmed, that's perfectly fine. However, what I think we believe or feel is that we're not going to relocate all our stuff to move to another room for every meeting. If the town can provide us the space, the filming can happen, because we'd have to move the projector, the screen, the computer, we'd have to do extension cords, take the files back and forth every time. And we're volunteers, we do a lot as it is, and we're just not willing to do that unless somehow it's someplace else that we can be accommodated and leave our stuff. We're perfectly happy then. We don't object to being filmed. We simply don't have space right now. Or if they can do it in that room, that's fine too. There's a sentence in this email that says, quote it, this is talking about, as you know, the budget process is important to the taxpayers of Plympton and therefore should be publicly aired as much as possible. Hopefully this will dispel any improper vetting rumors. I don't even know what that means, but if that is a implication or suggestion about anything related to the Finance Committee, I take exception to it. We do the very, very best we can. I think we do a good job, and I find that comment offensive, whatever it was supposed to mean. Mr. Henry's a private citizen. He was written in to the Finance Committee the last election, and he chose to decline the seat. And now he's a private citizen, and he's not on any board. And I was attending a meeting, it was the last week of the week before, where I hear that he's meeting with the accountant and doing some financial planning, and the treasurer, and in the assessor's office, and he was at a public meeting suggesting that the finance committee isn't looking at some of the right things that we need to be looking at in terms of long-term financial planning. And I don't really understand why any single private citizen is allowed to dominate so much time of people in town government. Everybody in the town has a right to information, to attend meetings, to ask questions, but I think that everybody needs to take a hard look at what this is doing, the frustration level it causes for people on boards, and the inappropriateness of it, of somebody who's chosen to decline a seat in town government, then sort of taking a role and purporting to tell the boards what, or at least us, where we're falling short. So I guess that's where we come from. You know, if you can work out a place in a way that we can be taken, we're perfectly happy. So public meetings, we invite anyone who wants to come. But I just, again, we're in a really small space. We need to be in a space that can be darkened, and we need to be in a space where we can have our stuff without having to haul it around the building. So I don't know if either you want to add anything.
We need to be in a permanent space, you know?
Finance.
And this was brought up when they were remodeling. Well, where's the finance committee gonna be? We talked about, you know, can you build us a room in this area that you're building for the selectmen? And no, so we had to kind of find our own place.
Would you feel comfortable in the room down the hall with the,
If you can lock
The
up our
stage?
computer, and if you can make it so our stuff can be there and we can meet there, we meet almost every week in budget season, no one else can use it. That's,
do you know, is that room used by anyone else?
Almost never. I mean, one problem we have with this is it tends to be that FinCom meets concurrently with us. Otherwise, this room, with our meetings, otherwise this room would be available. I mean, I think it's extremely rare that that room, if ever, if that room is used at the same time this room is used. The concern remains if they have to set up each time.
and in addition, let me add that the computer that we use is left on and that we work on it remotely. So it can't be that we put everything away in a closet. We have to have the computer, has to be secured, which it is in that office it is now. The office is locked, but that computer is on and live all the time. And because a lot of the stuff as it comes in, we don't come in here and sit and work in putting budget information and stuff. We do that remotely.
Why don't they just stay where they are and just videotape in that room?
That's up to Kate.
Well, I think there are two issues. Number one, there's the issue of is there enough space? And certainly, FinCom has been wonderful, as most or all the committees and boards in town, of fulfilling open meeting law. The agenda published well ahead of time. Anyone is welcome to any meeting at any time. And I think one of the concerns about this email is there's kind of the implication that people don't have if it isn't filmed, people don't have the opportunity to see what's going on, which is just plain silly. The agendas are published 48 hours ahead of time. These are open meetings that anyone can attend. The minutes are available afterwards. So this is a transparent, open process that goes on. I don't think so far you guys have ever had a problem with space in that room. I mean, if 20 citizens decide to show up, and then obviously, until it's a problem, it doesn't seem like we should treat it as a problem. So I think one issue is whether we need whether FinCom needs to move. That doesn't seem practical to
No,
me
it
at this
doesn't.
point. So I would be against that. I fully recognize that all of us, or most of the boards and committees in this town, are in cramped spaces. What people downstairs have to live with is almost on the edge of being a shame, but we have a small town hall. Issue number one, whether should move, I'd be totally against FinCom moving. I think there is the second issue about filming. As best I understand it, that probably is a Board of Selectmen decision. We are given 100 meetings a year, essentially at no charge to us by the Tri-Town Studios. we don't use nearly
No.
all of those. So I did check with the Tri-Town Studio in terms of whether they would be able to film 2 different meetings going on. There is enough equipment, there is enough personnel. I mean, I think either way is probably fine. I don't feel any strong urge to be filming these meetings when they are publicly available at any time. And especially when most of the Finance Committee's work is kind of in a few weeks or several weeks in the winter and spring. I mean, if this board felt differently and wanted to go ahead and authorize filming, that would be okay. It is also true that any citizen can come in and film these meetings as long as they let people know. It simply has to be announced at the beginning of the meeting, and anyone can record the meetings that they want.
I would think that it would be premature to act on one person's request. If we had several people asking, that would be a different story. We may not respond any differently, but that would be a different story. And in addition, if we were going to film at all, I don't think there'd be any reason to film every single meeting. Maybe the last 3 before town meeting or something, that if people felt they wanted to get a handle on what's going on before town meeting actually happened. But not to film every meeting. As you said, they're open. Every week we say, or every week I say that the public safety building meetings are open to the public, and very few people come. And you know that people are going to want to know, why did this happen? Well, come and see, you know?
Well, I'd like to say that the inference that there's any improper activity is completely false, and that we have an amazing finance committee. And our financial rating was increased. And a big part of that reason is because that group has been so conservative with their recommendations, and that they have really led us in a very prudent and frugal way to, for the town's finances. So, hats off to you guys. You've done a great job, and, there's nothing, the meetings are open. I was thinking while Colleen was talking, maybe they could do the last couple, but don't we meet before town meeting and hash everything out
Yes,
anyway?
well, that's true.
And that's a public meeting. And that's where we get together and talk about recommendations and why you're recommending things. And I don't think that it needs to be filmed at this point. I think you guys are doing an outstanding job. And
And I just want to clarify, whether we film or not, we don't care. We're happy to be filmed. I just wanted to not be required to relocate every week, because it's just really not practical for us. So,
And
the filming's up to you.
I totally agree with everything that's been said here, and having served on the Finance Committee, it's hard work. And though they're in a small room and we don't want to overcrowd that room, people that are concerned about taxes and concerned about the degree to which people are working extremely hard to keep taxes as moderate as possible, attend a couple of FinCom meetings and you'll see the wrestling that goes on, and you'll particularly see the small part, the incredibly small part of the budget, which is discretionary. So attend these meetings. Okay, so it sounds like we have no action to take.
yeah, no action. Thank you.
We appreciate you guys coming in and really appreciate the work that you do and the seriousness you take the task before you. We are blessed to have all 3 of you, all 5 of you.
And their meetings are all open. They're posted. You meet in the little conference room in Tara's office. She is here when you meet, so it's always open. So anyone who's interested, you're welcome to attend any meeting.
We generally start the departmental meetings in early February. That's what we're interested in.
So early February, you'll start doing the, okay. It's all up posted on the, what town's website? Yeah, check out the town's website.
Every-
Thank you.
No, I don't think they do meet every Monday. Not,
Not every,
No.
about 3 Mondays a month. during the
Starting
time.
January.
yeah.
Okay.
As it gets closer to town meeting, they may end up meeting.
Most creatures hibernate during the winter. FinCom does the reverse. You
Yeah.
guys come alive this time of year.
Try to use those words.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
thank you.
coming up.
Thanks.
Good night.
Okay. So back now to the fun stuff. Geez, we got diverted from the weather closure document. All right. So
Where did this come from?
So the history. I, throughout my life, in the private sector, the public sector, and the nonprofit sector, have hated the constant challenge of when it snows, are we open, are we not open, are we being fair to our employees, are we being fair to the citizens, are we being fair to people that are paid by the hour, we don't want anyone endangered, we don't want anyone's livelihood in danger. So out of that came the sense that it would be nice to have an official emergency closure policy. So we wrote this, mostly I wrote this last year.
I think it's a great idea.
And, but, and I'm
No, most of it was fine. There were just some things.
And so before you do all yours, the one that in sharing this, the very last thing on the second page, we had a section that said, here.
Yeah.
It said something about employees will need to decide whether or not they're going to take time off without pay or personal time, which it was suggested to me we need to cross out because there is not personal time available.
Okay.
And actually what that should read is take time off without pay or use vacation time. And we crossed out work comp time
Yep.
because apparently that isn't part of our world
Well,
right
that makes
now.
sense. Vacation time or without pay.
So that's all I could come up with to improve it, and I'm
Okay.
thrilled that we have a new old selectman, or a new experienced selectman on board that had plenty of other things to add. So off we go.
Okay, so let's start with the date.
Okay. Well, this was approved then.
What, in the year 2105?
Oh, man. I was looking ahead. Hey, if Joe could be a selectman for 38
So
years.
we're forward thinking.
Yeah,
Exactly,
right.
forward thinking.
Okay.
Okay. I thought it was really good. The only thing that, that I thought needed to go away was the in return for that, because I didn't think that that's really realistic, because nobody would have access to things that they need to do work at home. Where it says, in return for pay
Yeah.
during this paid work day while the townhouse is closed, you're expected to work from home if feasible. I just don't think that is feasible, and that should go.
Okay.
Yeah, I would get rid of that whole thing, because.
The whole paragraph?
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to work from home. Even employees who have jobs that usually require their physical presence at work can do such tasks as paperwork, developing a job description, considering how to improve workflow. I don't think anybody's gonna do that during a storm.
Yeah, it's just silly busy work.
Yeah, it's just silly busy work. We want them shoveling themselves out so that they can report to work the next day. You know, that's what, rather than, because nobody's gonna do it. I mean, we may not even have power.
And I agree, and maybe it's a little clumsy, and we should just take it out. This portion, just for context, for anyone that's listening, is when the governor declares a state of emergency. Only when the governor
Right.
declares a state of emergency are hourly and salaried or are hourly employees paid. So this was included as a way, if they're getting paid, that at least they're
Yeah.
thinking about their work, but it is pretty clumsy.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
would just,
All right, so
eliminate
that'll make the
that.
whole thing shorter.
all right. The safety of our employees is paramount in any emergency, and I would put, get rid of no policy can cover every potential emergency situation, and have something instead like, Employees must determine if conditions allow them to report for work. That the
Safety.
safety of our employees is paramount in any emergency, comma, employees must determine if conditions allow them to report for work.
Must determine if conditions allow them to return,
To report for work,
to report for work
Right.
safely.
safely.
Okay.
And then, I thought this was kind of cumbersome here. I
so
would just say,
are-
basically, townhouse is open unless the governor declares a state of emergency. Even if it snows, townhouse is open. So unless the emergency management team or the governor recommend the townhouse is closed, the townhouse is open. So, I mean, there are gonna be days when the weather's lousy, but the townhouse is open. And I just don't know what's the best way to say that.
Joe Freitas said it best.
What's that?
The snow policy of the town of Plympton is there is no snow policy.
Yeah, that,
He just, and that was it. It was open. I mean, it obviously is the down and dirty way to do it, but it certainly saves a lot of writing nuances into the.
right, we're trying to, put all of these in, it's open unless the governor declares a state of emergency or the emergency management team recommends that it's closed.
Well, isn't that what this says in essence? It-
Unless the governor declares a state of emergency, the town will rarely be closed due to snow except in the worst conditions. I don't know, I just thought it'd be easier just to say the townhouse is open unless closed by state of emergency.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just wordier.
I kind of like that you added "or by our emergency preparedness team."
Right, the emergency management team.
Management team.
So the townhouse is open unless one of those two groups closes it.
The townhouse will rarely be closed due to snow except in the worst conditions.
But it may not necessarily be snow, it could be a hurricane, and that's,
Could be this roof.
could be, right. It's not gonna be necessarily snow that can be the closing factor.
All right, so maybe we need to put this in the positive, that the townhouse will remain open
Unless the governor issues a
The
state of
townhouse
emergency.
is open.
Right,
You don't have to remain open. It is open
right,
unless these three things happen.
right.
The point of this was intended to imply that a little bit of snow is not gonna let the place be closed. It was more a statement that it's gonna take really bad conditions before we close the townhouse. And in part, it was written that way as a signal not only to employees, but also to the emergency closure people. Don't close it, if there's 3 inches of
Right.
snow.
Right.
So maybe it needs to get worded a little better. Let me work on that.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, and I liked the positive too. It's open unless,
Okay, I will work on that and bring
Perfect.
new language for
That's
next week.
perfect.
And you had something else?
all right, in notification, the last one is department heads will make every effort to notify employees in as timely a manner as possible by departmental phone call, trees, or other other predetermined communication method. I mean, they may have come up with something themselves, not necessarily a
Other,
because it says "and the like." I just changed that to, or other, predetermined communication
you wouldn't let me
method.
finesse that. Other predetermined communication?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
No, that's much better.
Yeah, I mean, I'll call you at 6 o'clock in the morning if it's closed. All right, yeah, and that's really all that I had. I thought it was very good.
Let me clean this up
Yeah.
and we'll put it on the agenda again for next week.
Yep.
Okay?
Perfect.
Very good, thank you. Those are excellent improvements. Okay, weather closure, highway surveyor will wait on. Discuss and possibly vote on town personnel policy. So we've been doing this sort of piecemeal along the
Yes.
way. And tonight we are blessed with the opportunity to work on our Corey policy.
Corey!
So, if I can, I'm not sure I should go first, but I guess
No, doesn't matter.
I will go first and just mention that I'm not sure in the document that we have so far, the one that says Town of Blank
Yeah.
as,
I found a bunch of other ones too.
oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right. My sole concern on this, I know a lot of the verbiage has to be there, and just the fact it takes 5 pages to do this says what a quagmire we could easily get into. I think we need an absolutely clear statement of who we are doing queries on, and then by implication, all the people we're not doing them on who aren't mentioned. And some of that comes out of the original memo we got from the Copeland and Page lawyer, and his sentence that we are legally required to run query checks on all employees and volunteers who have the potential for direct and unmonitored access. And I think we just need to very clearly get that in the, you know, at the very beginning, that the town of Plympton has decided that these are people we want to do query on.
Sure.
So do you have other variations on a theme?
I found a couple that I liked that they really spelled it out much more clearly than ours did.
Good.
It said, where criminal offender query checks authorized by law or regulation for employment, contractor vendor work, volunteer work, and licensing purposes with the town of Plympton are performed. So they really spelled it out. It was employment, contractors, volunteers, and licenses, which was, you know, the class 2 and a business license. Let me see what else I've got here. All right, for the purpose of permanent, part-time, temporary, and seasonal employment and volunteer work, query checks will be conducted as authorized by the board. All applicants for employment with the town, this is actually Dedham's, will require a query check. And then it talks about, it actually spells it out. You've got contractor vendor work. So it's all contractors or vendors who in the course of their duties would be exposed to vulnerable populations, such as the elderly, the disabled, or children, may be required to undergo and pass a query check. And then it talks about for the purposes of licensure, and it's got, let's see, a copy of the policy. You've got liquor, constable, peddler, antique junk dealer, Class 2, Class 1, Class 2, Class 3, and any other licensed position permitted by us, which would be the common victualler and the business license. So that would spell all of them out, but we don't have to, you know, go that deep if you guys don't feel comfortable requiring queries for that level.
It just seems really,
It's basically everybody. It's everybody that we give a license to, and anyone who is having any interaction with the elderly, handicap, or children. And what do they
But-
call them? The
vulnerable
population.
But the thing from the lawyer says unsupervised, or unmonitored.
Right, so that would be Council on Aging. It would be
Yes.
library
But-
volunteers.
I mean, why would we want to query the owners of or the employees at the Village Cafe?
Well, we're giving them a license to do business in this town. And I think if there was a problem, if we had somebody that was a problem, we wouldn't want to be giving them a license with, you know, that type of thing.
I won't comment on the vitriller's license
Okay.
because I live at one of those places. I think I have said in the past, and I'll reiterate, I would keep this as narrow as possible.
Okay.
I think we are opening up a can of worms. in terms of confidentiality, in terms of paperwork, and I, just the sort of libertine part of me just, I'm not sure the town of Plympton should get that involved. I kind of, if I had my druthers, I would keep it down to the legally required stuff that was noted by the Coppin and Page lawyer. I mean, that's just me. I think we get to decide. The broader we make this, the more opportunity for mischief, mistake, accident, and trouble.
Well, and the thing is, if we pick and choose, then I don't want people to say that we're, that's why I wanted to be broad with it, is that it's everybody. So somebody can't come in and say, you know, I don't want to have to do a quarry, even though everybody else who is getting that same license or a similar license is agreeing to it.
Which is one of the reasons why I feel like the most defensible position is we're legally required to do this stuff, and that's been on the ones we're legally required to do, and not broaden it. I'm not comfortable doing all
Okay.
those licensed people.
Okay.
I would think that, I was thinking about this, some of our employees, the assessors,
Uh-huh.
the building
Inspectors,
inspectors, they're going into people's homes.
So,
You know, they're going into the home of an elderly person or somebody whose child may be standing there watching them. I mean, that's a different situation. All this with the licenses, I don't know.
Okay.
To me, that's, I like the public to take some responsibility for where they're going, and if they don't feel safe going to this business, well, don't go to that business.
Okay, all right. So you don't even want to do like the class twos? I mean, we really can't pick and choose. We can't just say we're going to do them for liquor in class 2, because then we're just singling out those licenses.
I wouldn't do licenses, and I'm not commenting on victualler license, I'm commenting on the other one.
Right.
Sir?
Mr. Chairman, may I just ask what document you're pulling?
This
or
is
what town
from
you're
the
pulling
town
out
of Dedham.
Dedham. So
This is from the
Dedham
town
does
of-
this to all of the licenses they get.
Everybody
And that's
that
your
gets a
Can I
license.
clarify that's your suggestion?
Yes, that is my suggestion, is that all licenses
Dedham.
that we permit, that I would require a quarry. That's just me personally. But you're right, I mean, this is a huge process, because it's gonna be those people that we just mentioned. And,
And where do we take that? Do we take that to their employees? Or you just take that to the business owner?
it would just be, yeah, just be the
And
business
let-
owner.
And let them be
Whoever gets-
responsible for their
Yeah, whoever gets the
employees?
permit, whoever we're getting the, is applying for the license.
Dale, do you have any experience with this?
Yeah, and it was strictly limited to vulnerable populations. It was narrow, as Mark said. I'm not sure, I guess from reading Dedham's that they do it, but most of the small communities I was familiar with weren't quarrying anybody for licenses, for any kind of license at all. I mean, the liquor licenses, that's already on the state level. They drill down with, once you approve it, they drill down on a microscope with these people, the managers and the owners. I mean, if you even got a blemish on your record, you can't get a liquor license in the Commonwealth. But, I mean, in terms of common victualers or something like that, I've never heard of it. Apparently, and they do it in Dedham, but I've never heard of it. And they may do it in some of the bigger communities, or some of the communities that are, more in the thick, and you may have some reason to do it there. But the opinion is, it's obviously up to you as to whether you do it here. But I think Mark is right when he says keep it narrow.
Well, why don't we just do something that everybody's comfortable with, and we can always amend it in time. And if
So-
you're just comfortable with doing people that have interaction with vulnerable populations, then that's a great place to start. We need to get something.
Yeah, I
And
think,
I would make sure that it includes, as we said, the assessors, the inspectors, the people that are out and in people's homes.
Right.
So the language that Michelle Randazzo gave us was, you are legally required to run query checks on all employees and volunteers prior to service who have the potential for direct and unmonitored access to children, the elderly, and the disabled.
It's Council on Aging, library. And,
Yeah, library,
I mean,
council on
School does their own
aging.
already, so.
That is, library, recreation, council on aging.
But it would also be all of our inspectors, because they are gonna be going to people's homes, doing inspections, and you don't know if they're going to the home of someone who would be considered, in this group.
Here's the thing, though. As I understand the recommendations here, this is on moving forward, that existing employees, appointed people, wouldn't be quarried. Because, as I understand it, it brings up a whole new set of problems if we quarry someone that's already employed. Moreover, a negative quarry, or that is, an untoward quarry check doesn't disqualify people from service.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I want to keep this as narrow as possible. This is really messy. So what if we find out someone has a problem, they're already employed, it's a really difficult process to deal with. I mean, I just see the quagmires we'll get into.
Just a follow-up question, sorry to keep jumping in here. After you've adopted this policy, then who is making the decision of what marks on your query are disqualify you from the job? A 20-year-old DUI, not to say that that's
Yeah.
a lesser crime or a murder, who will be making that decision?
It could be the two people that are,
Well, no, I think they
performing them.
report to the hiring authority.
It would be, in this case, it would be the Board of Selectmen,
Okay.
because you're the final hiring authority. I
But
mean,
you
had an
guys get the
HR manager.
training
We just do the queries.
on
that's
how
all. Or
to-
she does, and I can do it.
perform the quarry.
So it would be
I
totally
would
at your
s- yeah.
discretion as to if that prior crime, even if it comes up as a not guilty, because on quarries, even not guilties linger for 10, 20 years. Correct?
I would just get the report back.
Right.
I submit the query, it comes back, and I would
And
forward
if
it
something
to whatever
shows up,
department.
you would send it to us.
I think you would should see the other way.
Okay.
It would be, it's your call.
Okay.
I could put a form together
But
that
Mark
would
is right,
say,
you can't go back now. I mean, if you adopt this policy, you can't go back and query the people that you
Well-
hired because you've got an ex post facto
But
problem there.
all of our inspectors are an annual appointment, so we could require a quarry prior to making our appointments next May.
Good.
Yeah, I think that's true. Gosh, this is messy for a small volunteer.
It is, you're right, it is messy, but, I mean, we certainly want to do our due diligence in, protecting vulnerable members of our population.
can you just put a date to it? Effective March 1st, 2016. All volunteers in such and such departments that are
Well,
in with the.
we could
And then have them fill out a form.
do something like that, with a date, effective date.
The Copeland and Page document that they sent us on frequently asked questions. The frequently asked question is, can I run query checks on current employees and just not on applicants? They recommend no, don't run them on current employees. I mean, that is just horribly thorny.
Is they the Attorney General's office?
No, that was from Copeland and Page,
But that's your-
as a recommendation.
But those are all appointed. I mean, the ones we're talking about are all appointed by us.
Well, and actually the assessors are not.
Right,
They're
though
done by
they
the-
would be employees, but I would think that those should definitely have
And they're hired
Board check.
by the Board of Assessors, not
board
by
of
us.
assessors, not by us, right.
So they may want a say in this.
Mhm. This can always be modified. I mean, I don't know if we need to work out all the kinks. Now.
Of the various towns that you looked at, was there one that you liked most that we could work off of?
Oh, you mean besides everything?
Because what?
Besides everything?
Corey from birth.
No, I mean,
Exactly.
aside from that question of who.
You mean my favorite one that did everybody?
Yeah, in turn, I mean, I
let's
think the whole thing
see.
comes down to the who, but, and we have to find the language that maybe we have,
Okay,
that
this
we
one-
just need to plug into.
This one does licenses, and you guys didn't want to do
But that we could get rid of, but the
licenses.
rest of the document,
All right, seasonal appointment, volunteer work. For purposes of full-time, part-time, temporary, seasonal employment, and volunteer work. Let's see.
Dale, this one, I think this originally came from you, Town of Blank. Do you remember, which was the document I think we were working off of initially?
Yeah, this one does contractors, too.
I mean, but that portion we can fix. What I'm really looking for is, well, a document like this that we
That
can work
spells
off
it
of.
out.
Well, no, aside from who, that the rest of the document's
Oh, okay, gotcha, okay. All right.
And then at least we have that part,
This was
and then
the
we just have to haggle over who.
Yeah,
The DCJIS model Corey policy
I
that
think that's what it
comes out
was.
of the state, is that the one? It doesn't look like.
No,
It may not have the one that I sent you, actually.
no, we don't have that one.
this is, the one that you sent us looks like this, Town of Blank.
I think that came from Copeland and Page.
That may have.
That's the one that came from Copeland and Page.
And you know, I'll tell you, if it came from Copeland and Page, it's probably the one I'd like to work from, because
It-
at least it's been vetted.
This came from Copeland and Page.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't have that one. I don't have it here, but. That's-
And my one concern with this one is I think it wasn't totally clear on who.
You're right, it
And I-
wasn't clear at all.
And I think we have to add that piece, so,
But that's just language we can come up with,
All right.
which was kind of in her email.
It was.
We just put that in the purpose,
okay.
add that into that.
Were you okay with the rest of the document?
Yeah, I'm okay with the rest of the document.
All right, how about I draft language from the Copeland and Page email and plug it in, find somewhere to plug it in,
Mm-hmm.
and then present that next week.
Yeah, you're just gonna plug it into purpose, right?
You think it's in
To number one?
purpose?
Yeah, I think it's in purpose, where it just spells it out in the very beginning,
Okay.
as to
So
what
actually,
the purpose of it is.
the purpose, this policy outlines the requirements. And then, all right, a new paragraph that would say, the town of Plympton requires Cory checks on all employees and volunteers prior to service who have the potential. Just
Yes.
that sentence
That
plugged in
sentence,
there.
yeah, that whole sentence, yeah,
We'll leave out if you run a camp.
right.
I don't think
Actually-
you don't need even to put library, recreation,
Right.
council on age. We don't need examples.
Period.
No, you don't need examples, right.
All right, so with that sentence in the second paragraph of purpose, do we have a document? Do we want to think about it one more week?
No, I'm okay with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we're just gonna add, the town of
You're
Plympton
gonna
will
quote me on that,
require
right?
Cory checks on all
He said.
employees and volunteers prior to service who have the potential for direct and unmonitored access to children, the elderly, and the disabled, period.
Okay,
Okay, that's it, that's what, then that'll be the second paragraph.
paragraph.
Under purpose.
okay.
Okay, and that clearly spells out who's being queried. Okay. Yeah, so let me mark where this
What about
is.
financial positions, handling money?
Doesn't
You know,
say anything about,
Why don't we start with this? We'll spend the year working with getting the mechanics down, and then, you know, at
because
any
that's all,
point, we
they're
can
all
expand
bonded,
it.
but you're right, in one of the things that I read, there was something about people that, it was anybody that handled money too was quarried. But yeah, we could start with this and
It's only money.
get
It's
this
not
in the
like-
works. But they're all bonded, they're all bonded,
They were
That I will go with.
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to be, you have to be bonded to.
Yeah, they're bonded.
Handle money in a municipality, so.
We don't have that much money anyway, so it's not like there's so much. Wow. We banged out a Corey policy.
Okay.
I guess we'll have to vote on that.
Let's see.
Do you want to rewrite it, get it out to us, and we'll do a final vote? after
Yeah,
we
why
have
don't,
it in our
or we
hand?
could even vote
Oh,
next week.
actually, what we do have to do is send it out for 10 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can, we have voted on it and then sent it out.
Okay, so we'll vote on it, we'll wait for further comment before it becomes official policy.
Yeah, so it
Right.
goes out.
Yeah, the 10-day period.
All right, so I make a motion that we approve our new
Good
Corey
language.
policy with the addition of a second paragraph in the first section, which defines the people that we will do Corey on.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You're doing the edit, right?
I'll do the edit.
I mean, whoever, just make sure I get a copy so I
Okay.
can.
All right, I'll edit it,
Send it
get
out
it to
when
you,
it's ready.
you'll share it for a 10-day comment period.
Perfect.
We'll post it.
Edit Corey. Send to Dale. I may be on the road for a couple days, I'll have it by midweek. Okay?
It'll get posted when it does. Yeah.
Okay. Nice work.
Yay, that's a good one to have done.
Yeah, boy, is that a good one. The rest are easy.
Yeah, the rest are easy.
Wait, final copy.
All right, so we're going to continue discussion on other personnel policy and procedures. So first of all, we did have the comment period on our document addition and amendment policy. So Dale, did we receive any comments during the
None.
comment
I
period?
received nothing on it.
All right, so that becomes policy. So there's that one. We also had a comment period on the recruitment and hiring policy document. Any comment on that?
No, did we put that out for, I lost track. Did we put that one out for comment?
Yeah, I believe you
Should
did.
have been, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you confirm
I
that
will
that went
confirm
out?
that, yeah.
And then we'll
'Cause
next,
We have a recruitment, there's a position open right now, so.
all right, so we'll check with you next week that it went out, because obviously we didn't have comments. Comments, so that'll be an agenda item for next week. Comment on recruitment and hiring doc. All right, so we were doing this kind of piecemeal. I guess the one other thing on this subject is whether we want to choose another document to be working on for the next meeting.
What do we have left?
I'm going to have to dig into the archives here.
Oh, the disciplinary. Didn't we already do that? No, we didn't.
No. So is that a progressive
Yeah,
disciplinary?
that's progressive discipline that came right from David Jenkins.
That one's different.
And then
Here it is.
Dale had given us a
Okay.
suggested.
So shall this be the document that we work on for next week? Can we make sure we're all looking at the same one?
Nope, that's not it.
Do you want a copy?
Yeah, well, let me just check.
Okay.
All right, so let me just make sure that will get on the agenda for next
Disciplinary
week.
guidelines.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Agenda, disciplinary guidelines. Okay? So,
I was just gonna say, in addition to that, this doesn't have to go for comment, but this is just an acknowledgement form that basically it says, I've received a copy of the Town of Plympton personnel policies and have read and understood its contents. I understand that the policy is intended to provide an overview of the town's personnel policies and does not represent all such policies in force. I understand that no authority under the Board of Selectmen may enter into any agreement, written, oral, or otherwise, that is not consistent with these policies. And basically, when you hire an employee or when it's finally done, everybody will get a copy, and then this acknowledges that they read it, so that there's no, somebody can't come back. I mean, is that okay to include as it is in there?
everyone okay with that? Should we share that in another comment period since we're
We
doing?
don't really have to. I mean, it's an
Okay.
administrative thing. It's just,
Okay.
how you determine it.
You received it.
Okay, yeah,
You
great.
read-
Yeah, it's
you
just
read
an
and received.
acknowledgement that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's signed by the employee and the supervisor. And it's-
Now, will that apply to police and fire too, or no?
So far as it applies to them, yes. I mean, it won't, the police are exempt on, they have their own contract, so they come under a different
Okay.
policy. And fire may in fact go down that road, although some of them, they're, you know, some of the policies may apply in general to them when you get to some of the more
So-
broad ones, like holidays.
Once we've gone through all this process, we're slowly putting together these documents. They are physically somewhere,
Well, they will be, yeah.
and they're digitally somewhere.
Right now, they're digital in a, you know,
In-
in a computer.
in
along
your
with this,
computer.
and- Yeah, and I can begin to put it together. I mean, there's a, you know, when it's done, it's a booklet, but it's not. I mean, obviously, we
Okay.
haven't got enough to make a book yet.
All right, so you're keeping track, though, of it, that in
Yeah,
the
once it's
digital
approved, and
and...
once it goes in, then I have a, you know, a file folder that's just basically what's been adopted and
Okay.
go from there. Essentially, what you're doing is you're just sort of filling in the blanks on that table of contents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so pick anything, and then some of the table of contents does not necessarily, I mean, it can be a policy, it can be posted, but it's pretty cut and dry, how you want to handle the Family and Medical Leave Act. I mean, there's a way, certain requirements that you absolutely have to do, that's the state determines that. We've got a sexual harassment policy that's already been adopted and approved, that will go in there. You know, along with holidays, what are considered holidays, and again, that's where it gets different for the police and fire.
Right.
Because, you know, they're
You
not
have this
affected the
in there?
same way.
Yeah.
We haven't
Vacation
done
time,
probation
Right.
you know, the
period
way
yet.
sick days are accrued, all that will go in there and just, it'll be.
Well, it'll be nice to have, it just makes
Yeah,
it
and then
easier
you've
for
got,
people.
once you've got the document in place, you can work on it.
Right.
You can always change it, it's not etched in stone, but at least as you've got a document you can hand out when you hire somebody that says, you know, this is the,
Kind of spells out the basics.
yeah, spells out the basics, and in fact, you could, I mean, you could require all your current employees to read it and sign off that they've read it as well. And then that way there, you don't have a question. If there's some question on discipline, or some question on holidays, or some question on some hourly thing, or whatever it happens to be, it comes up, say, well, no, that's the policy, and here's your signature.
Yeah, that's a good idea to do that after
Yeah.
And
we
a
get this.
town-wide employment application.
Yeah, I have several. I mean, I can forward you a couple.
Yeah,
I had one
I think
that-
we've done,
I did, I forwarded you
Before.
one. I forwarded you the one that was actually vetted by the lawyers, the one that we used in Mendon. I thought that was a pretty good one.
So let's plan on that for 2 weeks from now. is
Yeah,
that-
the employment application?
Yeah.
Employment
Okay.
application.
2 weeks, agenda,
Okay.
okay. So, couple of other follow-ups then. Regionalization discussions. Some of this came out of the Tri-Town FinCom meeting and Board of Selectmen meeting from a few weeks ago. I tried to herd together selectmen from the various towns. That has continued to be a challenge. And because Dale let me know that the town administrator, manager, coordinator types were getting together, it seemed reasonable for the selectmen types to back off while you guys started. And here we are.
And we did meet, and just looking for the, I don't have the letter with me, the email with me. I did receive an email from Mike Milkowski and Carver, and they're in the process of getting a grant. I can't remember, it's the Southeast Regional, I can't even remember, it's a little alphabet soup, about 7 letters long. And they're getting, Carver's doing a grant with them right now, and what they agreed to do as part of it was to review all the 4 towns that were involved and see where there might be some, you know, some possibilities for getting together. And to do that, they had to ask some questions. I haven't heard from them yet, this was just last week. So once that's done, they may want to meet with board members, or it may become more specific than that. I'll certainly let you know. And then they may want to make some suggestions after that, and they were, the plan was to pull the boards of selectmen in at like the third time that everybody gets together in a meeting. And it was more informal the first meeting we had last week, and the next one will be with the study providers who were out there who were doing it, and then the third one will be when they come back with their.
So that's perceived as an ongoing process, and looking broadly at any area available that regionalization.
Any area where it might pay to, to regionalize,
Great.
whatever it happens to be.
Your email says that only Carver is a member of the Southeastern Regional Planning and Economic Development District,
Right.
but they will include the other 3 towns for the study. Do we need to become members?
In terms of, no, they're the only ones who are, believe it or not, are members. They're the only town around who are members. None of the other towns are. Halifax, Kingston are not. Neither are we.
I mean, that's what I'm asking. Do we?
No,
do
we don't
need
have to. Well, they haven't asked us to at this point,
Okay.
so I'm assuming no. That Carver has a study going with them, and what they're going to do is they're going to incorporate, as part of the study they're doing for Carver, they're going to incorporate this possibility for regionalization, and they're going to include the other towns. And since they don't know us, because we don't belong, they're going to interview Plympton, Halifax, and Kingston to, to ask some questions and review how many employees we have, what we do, sort of that kind of thing. So it's just another set of eyeballs on it. It should be pretty good.
Was that my disciplinary sheet? or was
No, I think
yours?
that was mine.
Okay.
Because I was gonna give it to Colleen to copy.
Okay.
Do you have it? Do you have one?
I don't see it right now.
All right, well,
but-
we can copy it.
Okay. All right, that's regionalization. 59 Parsonage Road, not much to say, actually something to say. I think I reported last time that I had spoken to the USDA fellow in the head of Massachusetts USDA, and they were considering going to auction. I received an email from him last week that I think I shared with you guys, that it is going to auction. It's either the 10th or 11th.
Yeah, the 11th.
It's going to auction with no minimum.
Yeah, no reserve.
Yep. And so that's where that stands. In my last discussion with the USDA rep, he said that if there were no bids, they'd have to look at what the next steps would be, which would include offering to give it to the town. We still end up with the problem of no Phase 2 environmental study and whether it would be prudent to even consider that, and still would have the issues of demolition delays on the house, still have issues of fixing all the environmental hazards.
The
So
trailers and all that.
we'll know more in 12 days.
Yeah, I think the 10th was what, a viewing?
Yes.
And the 11th is the actual auction, but the auction is not going to be on the property. I believe the auction was going to be at the auctioneer's
In
facility.
Connecticut or something.
In Connecticut.
Yeah, in Connecticut.
I believe
That's kind of
sealed.
Southeastern, like near Taunton, or is it actually in Connecticut?
It was
I think it's in
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Because I thought the last round was in
Yeah.
somewhere near
I believe
Taunton.
the regional office is in
The-
Connecticut, and that's where they're going to hold the auction.
Apparently, people do not have to be physically there to make a bid. We'll see what happens. We've kind of hit a roadblock.
Yeah, so
and
it's very unfortunate.
it's hard, and it's not a huge amount of money, but it's a challenge. All right, and I'm trying to skip over this, but I guess I have to bring it up. The follow-up town email address and general electronic functioning,
She said she's looking at
or lack thereof.
that. Yeah.
How we doing?
Mike came in last week and went over it, and supposedly people's problems, at least in here, were fixed. Some people had different settings on their machines, which didn't go out and look for email often enough. And but I know that Colleen says she still can't attach files on the web. I can, so I don't know whether it's a matter of what software I'm using at home or not.
So-
You have that look. What's that? What you can't? Yours isn't working either. Still?
Mine just likes to sit there.
Speak up, I'm sorry.
I'll hit it, send it, and it just sits in my outbox. So then I'll go in and do a send and receive to push it through. I won't do it, and I'll go back in again and resend it, and then it
Then
just keeps
get Michael
going.
back. Michael was in there looking at your computer, and he said it was working okay, so we'll get a call.
It's only with an attachment.
We'll call Michael and get him in. I mean, obviously, we have to
And
have.
you had said that
attachments
he would be willing to come in and work with each of us.
Right.
As that,
Yeah, I mean, I can, again, was whatever time, he's available most days during the day, he just needs some lead time because obviously he's got other
yeah,
clients.
and it would probably be better for him to hit a couple different people at one visit rather than.
Probably, yeah.
So,
But, I mean, I'm working on a desktop at home, so I'm not dragging that in, but I don't really have a problem. Are you working on a laptop?
yes.
Fine. You know, generally speaking,
You use
mid-morning
laptop.
to early afternoon, he's usually, he usually likes to get here, you know, he can get here like at 10 in the morning. Does that work for you? I mean, and what days don't work?
Tuesday doesn't work.
Tuesday?
Monday's not great.
It's not
How
great.
about,
I have enough on my plate for
If you
Monday.
choose an early Wednesday afternoon, at least the two of us can
Yeah.
bring our machines in.
And I'll just bring mine in, and I won't be here. I'll
But
bring it in. I'll bring it in the night before.
You can leave it
Or I'll
with
leave
the-
it at the selectmen's
All
meeting.
right, so at least we could do that piece. So maybe we'd
Oh,
set up.
Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
set up.
But I
know people
just,
don't use it.
we must get Bree up and going. And we've gone over this weeks and weeks and weeks.
Did you get today's? Because I sent it 3 times, so you may get it 3
I
times.
didn't get it.
No,
You
I got
didn't get
it
it at
once.
all.
No.
Today's the minutes,
Today's, no, what, the 11/9.
right, and when did you send them?
When
What
did I
time?
start sending it?
Okay.
Start, keyword, at 2:30.
Okay, I got it
And then I
probably
sent it
around
again.
4:30.
Okay, I
Sat
didn't
there.
get it.
But you didn't get it at all?
No, at all.
So I printed it.
But it might be there when I go in tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
did talk to
you're,
some people and they don't use their email, by the way.
Oh, and you were checking with the fire department, did they get back to you?
You mean on it? Yeah, we dropped about 5 people off of the fire department list. Yeah, and don't call me. Don't wait. I thought you were all set. So
No, I just
call Mike,
want to let them
get on him. That's what we're
Alright.
paying him for, to get those
So you
problems
didn't
solved.
get this.
And I will ask him
Okay.
on what Wednesday afternoon. He may be short notice. He may tell us this week. I don't know.
can you check with Bree every day to see how this is going? This is now weeks and weeks and weeks,
Yeah.
and I just,
Last week I had to shut my email, I had to get out and go back in.
okay,
And
we
he
need
came
to
in, but
stay
he came
on
in,
this
he was
until
here
we get it
last
Yeah,
solved.
but weren't you with me one day last week and it just
Yeah,
won't stop.
it just- I think I
tells
may
me I
have been.
can't do
Or Tara,
anything.
maybe Tara was there, you told me about it.
Okay.
Weird.
Okay.
Well, that's why we need, that's what we're paying Mike.
Well, and you know, you don't actually know, I mean, she sent it at 2:30, she doesn't know until now that we didn't get it, so.
So then I
It's kinda
looked,
hard.
so then I sent it again, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna send it.
Well,
Then
I
I
think
printed
you ought to
it.
send everything return receipt anyway, if that's the case.
or at worst, send it and then send a plain email saying, did you get this? I'm
Sure.
usually pretty obsessive by mid-morning of being on all the
Well,
time.
if you
I
put the
just-
receipt on it, then people will, you know, he can hit the receipt reply, you know, that acknowledge that you got it, so.
All right, we really, really want to have this on the agenda for next week and then never
Yeah.
again.
Well, at least we got the agenda up, so that was some progress. We were able to meet because the agenda was posted.
So
Did we get-
Thank you.
we congratulate ourselves on accomplishment.
Absolutely. Baby steps, very small.
Okay. So, we can go back up. We really appreciate Mr. Mulcahy coming in. I apologized to him this morning, as I had forgotten to get in touch with him last week to let him know this was on the agenda. This was actually an agenda item that you requested. And, Jim had other meetings, but has come by
Okay.
this evening. So the topic before us is to consider the change of the highway surveyor from an elected position to an appointed position. So maybe you
Well,
want to introduce
it
it further.
wasn't just highway, Jim. It was basically taking a look at town government and seeing what positions it would make more sense to move from elected to appointed. And I'm not sure how you got become first one on the list, but,
That was probably me, because I remembered in a meeting last year, you had said that your position in most towns is an appointed
It
position.
seemed to be
and-
trending that way.
Yeah.
And the previous board had discussed doing it several years ago, but never happened.
And we recently did it with the treasurer, so.
You know, depends on your opinion, I guess. The big advantage would be to, when you appoint, you don't have, your candidates don't have to be residents. I mean, if you're elected official, you have to reside in town. That's the big one. So, and the trade-off would be, you know.
And the smaller the town, the smaller your pool, so that's where it becomes really advantageous to be
Yeah.
appointing rather than
If you're
electing.
elected, you have to be resident.
right.
So that's the big trade-off. And if you elected, you have a resident who's, you know, more invested in the community, more aware of local issues.
Mhm.
Of course, you could appoint a resident, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the big one.
Well, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think for the town of Plympton, it would be in our best interest to look at?
I don't know, I'm not sure. I know for me, I like the way it is.
Yeah, but if you were appointed, then, not that the board doesn't support your budget now, I think we would be more involved with your budget and, you know, fighting on
Well, it
town
would be
meeting.
Same as the other department heads.
It's right, same as the other department heads, and fighting on town meeting for your budgets, you know, supporting you.
I think
The superintendent would be working.
Mm-hmm.
my concern with keeping it elected is that when you do retire, and I'm not hoping for that or anything, but when you do retire, anybody can run. And who vets that person for the position? You know, I mean, I could run for, I'm not going to, for highway supervisor, and, you know, if people thought, oh, well, I know her, I'll write her name in, and then I'm there, and I know nothing about it.
It happens.
So I don't think we want that to happen. We've been
Well, it's up to the.
really lucky with
You have to have a
you.
little more faith in the voters.
It's mission critical. I mean, it's one of those jobs in town
Oh.
that's mission critical.
Yeah, his
and-
job
and-
is
and
so
if you-
important.
And it can fall prey to the popularity contest,
Yes.
and you could end
Yeah.
up in a really bad
And
situation.
that was the concern of the previous board, is what you just said.
Yeah.
And as far as doing it, it's a town meeting warrant article. It goes to, it's a local home rule petition to change, it would go to the legislature. It was passed at town meeting, it would go to the legislature, they would, you know, they're pretty automatic with those things. And to answer your other question, the only other position you probably would consider that with would be town clerk. Some towns make that appointed as well, and, but that's usually the last one to go. It's usually treasurer, collector, highway surveyor, and then town clerk.
Well,
So-
we don't have any elected left. It's Jim,
Terrible.
Tara. Is that it? Really?
I think so. Well, other than,
Finance committee, I mean,
Well, you got
Yeah,
board,
I
I mean, you've got
boards,
other
yeah,
boards of health, planning
Yeah.
board, those don't get appointed. But I mean, as far as people who are elected and full-time employees, you're getting elected to basically a full-time employee position. That's the three, treasurer, collector, highway surveyor, and town clerk.
So town meeting vote, several months later, is it months later, the
It
legislature?
usually takes a couple of months for the legislature to hash it out, and then they send you the thing back that they voted and approved it, and those are all, they're all boilerplate. I mean, you know, it's not, they're all boilerplate, and they all say that, you know, it comes into play after the term of the current elected official ends. And, I mean, you could change it any way you wanted to, and a lot of times they do that.
we've already done it with the treasurer.
What's that?
yeah, we
Yes.
did it with
Treasurer,
treasurer.
yeah,
yes.
it would be you could almost
Same
superimpose
process.
highway surveyor for treasurer and use the same bylaw again. It's, I mean, the same town meeting article. It's
Yeah.
the-
Your term has another year and a half to go, is that?
Well, I just got elected this past
Yeah.
May, so 2.5.
2.5, oh, great. Thank goodness. So it actually gives us time on this
Yeah,
one, though,
time.
if we were gonna decide to do it, just getting it done.
So the biggest reason to not do it is that if you hire outside of the town, that person may not be as vested,
Well,
may not be.
may not. But again, you have to have faith in whoever hires you. You have to find the right candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I know of one superintendent who works, shall we say, a town north of here, and he commutes from the Cape. So he does a great job, but he's not a large connection.
I see the real advantage of an appointed position, albeit, it's gonna be more work for us in terms of supervision, interviews, and I think we're not afraid of work, but we'll just be adding more and more along the way. And we just have to be aware of that.
Yeah, my fear is that, and I could be wrong here, but it just seems like that you need to know more and more and more about your job, and that
Okay, yes.
if it's just an elected position, we may get somebody who's not qualified.
I was fortunate, I came from the private sector when I was elected, but I knew a lot of people in this particular industry, and I had a lot of problems. It's tough for someone to walk in without any background in it at all, as far as
Yeah.
a private contractor not knowing how to, may know about construction and stuff like that, but not knowing about municipal procurement,
Mm-hmm.
the way state aid works, which is,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
tricky.
pretty comfortable that you know everything.
That's-
But I don't know
that's
what
fine.
your successor would know.
Well, right, there'd be very
That's
big
it.
shoes to fill
Yeah.
when you leave.
You do just,
It does change all the time.
yeah.
And we have a little town here, it could be a lot worse. We don't have we have to take care of our roads, we don't have infrastructure, we don't have a town water, we don't have town sewer. But we have other problems too.
Okay.
Jim, if we were to change it to appointed, would that eliminate participating in the Plymouth County retirement? Is that, do
Oh,
you
no,
know?
no.
So if somebody was appointed, they'd still be able to,
That doesn't change.
okay,
You have to sign a contract,
okay,
whatever that package is.
okay. Okay. Excellent.
Well, keep thinking about it.
Sure.
I mean, as elected, I don't get certain benefits I don't get. I don't get vacation, I don't get sick time. I get 3 years of a week's pay.
Do you want to go to appointed?
I kind of like it the way it is. I mean, someone told me the job description is to pay the bills, to make up the payroll, and get reelected. The last one is the tricky one.
Yeah. Oh,
So
absolutely.
you gotta do the job.
Well, you did an amazing job.
Well, it's worked out sometimes.
We know you've had a busy, long day. We appreciate you coming in and appreciate your service.
I know we had discussed it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
There is plenty of time left for this was.
All right, so we need to sort of keep this on our radar.
Keep this on the radar,
and Just
yeah.
ponder it a little, and
Uh-huh.
we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay?
If not, this town meeting, definitely the next.
Yep. Okay, very
The
good.
one after that would be too late.
Right, it would be too late.
No, I think if we're gonna do it,
You
getting
have
it
to have
done
it,
this year.
This has to be done before my term.
Right, right. And next
we
year
can make
would
it
be,
contingent upon,
would be playing it pretty close, because somebody would have already had to pull papers, and it's contingent on passing town meeting. If it didn't pass town meeting,
The earlier
would-
the better.
it would probably be prudent to
If
do
you're
it this
gonna
year,
I
if we're
would do
gonna
sooner
do
rather
it.
than
Yeah.
later.
Right.
Only
Totally.
because if you push it off, because there'll be some, when people say you're taking a decision out of our hands and.
It won't be fought, it won't be, it'll be pushed back.
Oh, there's gonna absolutely be pushback,
Sometimes,
yeah.
I mean, begs the question, okay, how many people in Plympton could walk in and take his job. Well, that means that assumes you need to know all of the state laws that govern all of this, and municipal procurement, and there's a whole learning curve behind just knowing that you've got to put whatever you got to do to fix the roads and get the drainage right. I mean, that, like he says, private industry can do that pretty well, but coming in from the outside and dealing with the whole municipal function is difficult.
Do you wanna do it?
Great. Okay,
I don't want to do it.
we'll move on.
Thank you, Jim, very much for coming in.
Thanks, Jim. All right, we are deep into our third hour here. and,
Okay, so let's rock and roll.
Yeah, so briefly, quickly, any solar updates?
They're in the process. I haven't heard
Okay.
definitely anything one way or the other.
Why don't we plan on the goals and priorities unless you have something in particular, we'll just wait until
No,
next week.
can we, hold that, but just one
Okay.
question for Dale. Do you have the spreadsheet done yet?
And the spreadsheet's pretty much done. I've still got a couple of projections. I do
Okay.
have the job descriptions, and it actually becomes job descriptions contracts.
Okay.
Because they need to be separated. Job descriptions need to be pulled out of the contracts. I mean, that's the way they are now. And I have Worcester County Retirement looking actually for updated contracts from us. Just coincidentally, that happened.
Okay. All right, so why don't you just give me whatever you got for next week on the spreadsheet?
I'll email you the spreadsheet on
Perfect.
the, I'll email
Okay,
you this
and then
as
we'll
well.
do this next week.
Okay. Town coordinator report, we've hit a lot of your stuff.
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of other things here. I just wanted to throw in, of course, somewhere I've shuffled the deck and buried them, so. This is a question. I got an email from our web provider, Virtual Town at School, and they have, they're in the process of offering upgrades for their websites that, websites format on computers, or they format on these things, or they format on, in other words, if you call a Plympton website, it won't necessarily format on a phone now. It won't format on, other things. And they're upgrading different ones. Plimpton's had it, Carver's had it done, and a couple of others. What they do is they rewrite the software so that whatever device you pull up the website on is formatted properly. And there's a charge for that. It's like $1,500 charge to do it, and you can stretch that out over 3 years. So obviously that's a board decision.
Is that something we should consider as a budget request in the next budget cycle?
Well, if we stretch it out over the 3 years, there's probably enough money in the budget to cover it this year. The $500.
This is the website?
This is
Yes.
making the website
Yeah.
fit on all
It's
devices.
not something we have to do this year. We could hold it off and be a budget item at the end of the year and do it afterwards.
That'd be something we can regionalize.
Yeah.
I don't call it up on my phone that much, so I don't know that.
I actually I wonder if, recognizing we have a little bit of discretionary money in the budget, whether we shouldn't be saving that to make sure we're getting email and town web, these issues straightened out.
Higher priority.
It would be really nice to be able to pull that up on all the other devices. Maybe we should each check and see if maybe it shows up on our device reasonably well.
Frequently use your mobile website.
And
You're much
I missed that. Geez, this is an open meeting here. He said it was better than a certain nearby
than
town.
a certain-
Better than one of our neighboring
Yeah,
communities.
we'll leave that out.
And the other,
Who we won't name.
sorry.
Yeah, it's fine, it's right there.
I have one more item when you get.
That's great.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, maybe we're coming up fine, so
Yeah.
just let it go. Unless they've done it already, and now they want to charge us for it. I'll check, I don't think, I have one more thing. We did put in a loss control application for a grant from Maya. I should say we, Bree did all of the work on that, and we were notified last week that Meyer is giving us a grant for $4,040 to do the gutters
Congratulations.
on this building.
That's
Well
awesome.
done.
Bree did the work, so that's.
That's to
Awesome.
heat the gutters?
Nice work.
Yeah, but they go in with sensors. They're different now. They have sensors on these things where they have to feel moisture and cold or they don't work. In other words, if it's very cold but there's no moisture, they
Right,
don't
there's no reason to.
operate. They're a lot more energy efficient than they used to.
So that's gonna happen before the cold weather,
Well,
which isn't so far away?
I asked them, I haven't gotten an answer back, when are we gonna get the money for that? When they're gonna give us the money? And then I forwarded it to the person who gave us the estimate, Gutter Pro, and we'll have them do it. Hopefully we'll get it done. I don't see any reason why we can't do it as long as there's not snow on the ground.
Okay.
Terrific.
Did you contact them? Oh, no. Did you contact them when the money was being made?
But yeah, I did, I asked.
Oh,
them.
okay.
Did
You
they-
did, okay.
And I haven't heard.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's
Dale?
it for me.
Actually,
Beautiful.
I have something that,
Please.
Dale, you had sent out something on municipal aggregation meeting. Is this something that we needed to?
Isn't
Give
that
you an
under
answer?
regionalization?
Oh, yeah. About a coordinated effort for electricity
To
or
buy
energy
electricity
costs.
for
Right.
our residents.
Right. And I haven't heard, that comes through Old Colony, correct?
It was Old
Yeah,
Colony
Colony,
Planning
Planning
Council.
Old Colony was doing it. I haven't heard anything more from them. They wanted to get involved in, they wanted us to get involved in it, but I haven't heard, anything.
Well, I have a meeting with them on Wednesday.
Okay.
I mean, this is just to explore it. This isn't making any commitment.
Right.
Right.
So it would probably be in our best interest just to join this group, just to explore.
Yes, that's my
Okay.
feeling.
Great.
Okay, all right, so I'll let them know
Okay.
that we're in. Okay.
Okay. We are up to correspondence.
Oh, goodness. All right, from Plymouth County Mosquito Control Project, it's notice of public meeting to present and discuss its preliminary proposed budget for FY 2017, which is December 16th from 3 to 5. Looks like last year their budget was $1,685,369. They're proposing $1,719,076 this year. So they're looking for the town of Plympton to either, a declaration that we either support or do not support their mosquito control funding. But this says for FY 2016, which is now. So I don't know if they got the wrong year on that. So they're looking for us to either support or not support.
I think we've always supported this in the past, and we surely grow plenty of mosquitoes here.
Absolutely.
So I think I make a motion that we
Okay.
declare our support of this program.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. All right, you want to sign that?
I do.
Okay.
That would be aye.
Okay, nice article about Reunion Farm from the Plympton Halifax Express. This was from last Friday, November 27th. Is there anything else in here I need to?
Oh, some great.
Halifax
Safety tips.
turkey trot. What did you say? Cooking
Something
tips?
about cooking and fire safety.
Okay, all right.
It was appropriate for the day
For
before
Thanksgiving. Oh, there we go. Make safety first for the holidays.
Yes.
All right. All right, we've already gone over that dumping complaint. Those are the minutes. All right, from Xfinity, price changes. Everybody would have received that has Xfinity. Plympton Council on Aging, looks like, this is from Christine Mariano? How do you say her last name? Mariano? Morano. All right, at the 2014 town meeting, the senior work-off program was approved and subsequently implemented. 3 residents were chosen to work from January 2015 to September 2015, a total of 55.5 hours for an abatement on their taxes of $500 each. The program proved to be very successful with the involvement of 3 residents in the planning board office, town clerk's office, the library, and also for the Council on Aging. 2 of these residents continued to provide volunteer services to our town after getting involved at no cost to taxpayers. We have just conducted interviews for 3 positions for this coming fiscal year. There are positions in the town clerk's office and the council on aging to be filled. I am requesting that you approve the addition of a 4th position to be filled by Al Botrino in the assessor's office. He will be providing assistance and experience that is invaluable to help the town recover funds that will more than cover the $500 abatement compensation he will receive. He even stated during his interview that he will be willing to work beyond the 50 hours required over a 9-month period. I am requesting your approval for this position. Deb Stewart, Town Assessor, requested his appointment knowing his past experience will be invaluable asset to our office and to the town. Thank you in advance to your attention to this matter. So she's asking for us to allow her a 4th position and to appoint Ellen Botrino.
Which I certainly want to do. I'm not exactly sure of the protocol. There might be a more formal way to do this, but I'm willing to make a motion that we
Okay.
support and approve this.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think if it were more money, we might have to go through
Yeah, I'm not
a
sure how
formal
the,
process. And I think maybe I'll make a
the
note of that and discuss
funding?
with the finance committee
Okay.
in the next budget process.
Okay. All right, from Thomas Renata, from the state, the Assistant Director of Operations for the Massachusetts Alcohol Beverage Control Commission. Please see the attached advisory concerning the 2016 increase in number of package stores from 5 to 7 that any one individual is allowed to hold beneficial interest in.
So
Okay,
noted.
so noted. All right. From Commonwealth of Mass, Department of Agricultural Resources, this year's annual animal inspector meeting will focus on local and national disease concerns related to animals, and this is going to be held at UMass Amherst, December 1st, Tufts, December 7th, December 8th in Dayton, that's going to be the closest to us, and then December 14th in Groton. Okay, for anyone who's interested in attending. Okay, this is
out of date.
old. The Charlton Board of Selectmen would like to invite you to attend a seminar on the conflict of interest law in the Selectmen's meeting room. We already did that here with Copeland and Page. All right, so this is from, when is this? November 13th. This talks about the Selectmen's meeting, where we did some, email
there's a headline.
system useless.
Sorry.
I was out of context and misquoted.
Oh, you said that?
I did. I
Okay.
didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I said that. I wrote the headline.
All right, and then the 20th, boy, we had a lot going on when we're gone. Is there anything about Plympton? Oh, this one talks about the Parsonage Road site. Feds find money to secure site. Feds find money to secure site. Oh, to secure the site,
Yeah.
not to purchase the site, to
Yeah, make it
Okay.
more secure.
make it more secure. Got it. Okay. All right. And National Grid, a nice letter about, it's like a program. If you smell gas, act fast. Okay. So. All right. So that's all I've got.
It's the trouble with the third hour of meetings.
I know. Get a little punchy.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Okay, I think, the only other one I'll mention, we did get a communication about our bond rating
Mm-hmm.
going up from, I don't know from what, but we are
It
now
was from A plus to AA plus.
I don't know how many more A's there are, but we were upgraded and they speak well of our financial situation.
Absolutely.
Good news. We are, so this goes toward Bree. We have 3 sets of minutes, and I'm quite thrilled to get up to date on those and hopefully stay up to date. So we're going to start with the minutes of October 26th. Much to my amazement, I didn't have anything on this.
I have something very minor. This says new committee room. Isn't this being called, I mean, new meeting room, isn't this being called the committee
You know,
meeting room?
I have no idea what we call these rooms.
Yeah.
But we had, we had,
Yeah, absolutely.
Is this the
Community
new
meeting
selectmen's room?
it can be the, pick one, whatever you'd like to call it.
Well,
like
you know,
this room better.
In a lot of ways, new meeting room at least is probably the most descriptive, and maybe we need to figure out,
Until 2 years from now, when we have the newer
well,
new
we'll,
meeting.
The really new.
hopefully we will someday.
Okay.
The things I have are really minor. Under solar update, it says post payment from Blue Wave for 15,000. That sort of doesn't make sense to me. It was really just that we are expecting a payment as the host community for the Mattapoisett.
Oh, host.
Yeah,
Oh, this says post.
right.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
So-
you're right.
So that's, maybe, I mean.
So we need to change that to host, and we need to make it make sense.
Yes. Or just say it's due, is in process,
Okay.
so that should be.
So will you be the keeper of improvements on this?
Well, I have a lot of scribbling on mine, so I'm not sure I would be.
Here, I have an extra copy, so
Okay.
now you can be the keeper of minutes.
Does yours say draft?
What?
She'll write on it the corrections.
No, but does yours say draft written very faintly? Like,
Mine did.
where's yours, Mark?
Mine didn't. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Okay, let me see if I have anything else that's critical. On the next page, Gen Ent, that's an abbreviation for general and enterprise.
Cable fund, is that? Oh, so I would just list that as enterprise cable fund.
Alrighty. That's just an extra bullet, so that's nothing. I would put a colon after the amend BOS meeting of 9/28 because we follow with the amendment.
Okay, good.
And that's it.
Okay. So I make a motion that the minutes of 10:26 be approved as amended.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
One down. Next, the meeting minutes of 11:2. And once again, I had nothing.
I didn't have anything.
I'm gonna stop
You're
adding
easy,
things.
though.
Yeah.
The one thing I have is that I was actually at that meeting.
Oh, you weren't listed?
No, I was listed as absent. At least I have notes from it, so I don't know how I would have gotten notes if I wasn't here.
Oh, it must have been from a previous meeting, maybe.
Yeah,
That,
so
Okay.
I was here.
So will you be, I hate to do this to you,
Yes.
will be the keeper of improvements?
Yes, give me your clean
want a
copy
blank
again so
one?
that she doesn't have to look at my
I always
scribbles.
keep a clean one for, in case I'm the keeper of
this one does.
improvements.
Okay, so let's put me here.
I have you as absent.
You think that Colleen is absent?
Nope, I was here.
I believe you.
Vote to adopt the addition of amendment of a policy that wasn't that was a document that has a specific language as addition and amendment of policies.
Okay,
That's that's fine, that's just
great.
quorum. That's a quorum, so that's fine. That's it.
Okay. Next are the minutes.
Lori, do you want to
Vote.
vote it?
Oh, so sorry. So I make a motion the minutes of 11:2 be accepted as amended.
No second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we're up to 11:9. And these we just got this afternoon.
Yeah.
Have everyone had a chance to take a look?
Yeah, I just
Yes.
read it. I had, under public documents request, a letter from the town clerks, that should just have a
Apostrophe.
apostrophe.
You got
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
And then this should be 3-0, because you didn't recuse yourself on this 59 Parsonage Road, did you, on the vote? You actually voted too, didn't you, Mark? This was to give you, to authorize you to speak with
Yeah,
town
yeah,
council?
no, yeah, and
Okay.
I no longer have to recuse myself from that because I'm just stated on the record for the
Okay.
10 millionth time. The land that I abut has been taken off any consideration for public safety buildings.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then bylaw should be BY,
I got
law,
that
not
one.
by, and then PPA, the A should be capitalized. And that's as far as I got.
I had a couple, back on page 1, under public documents request, the second sentence, the requested party, I think that should read the requesting or the requestor party.
Yeah.
Yeah, the requesting party, yeah.
And then on page 2, I had,
Am I keeping this document as well, in which case I need a
Well,
clean
you
copy,
just-
or?
Yeah, either one, yeah.
Well, Christine's is
Okay.
probably good enough, so if you
all
want to
right,
change.
so
Okay, so
you're
what else you
keeping a
got?
clean
Yep.
copy? Page 2, I didn't know this sentence, whereas the town has paid enough.
Oh,
I took that out.
I think, I don't know, it's a cool sentence, actually.
Whereas that town has paid
It's a
enough.
really
All
cool
right, let's
sentence.
eliminate
But
that.
maybe we'll get rid of that one.
That's all right.
And then down under task sheet, Center Street site rather than Second Street
Okay, Center Street
policy.
site, evaluation of
No,
where?
right there.
Okay.
Should be
Oh,
site.
Center Street site off the table.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And that's all I had on that.
Okay.
And-
Okay, and in the same place, I changed approved to voted and have to take. We
All
voted
right.
to take the Center Street
All
site off
right.
the table.
All right, let me, where is that?
Under task sheet,
Task sheet, okay.
Public Safety Committee voted,
Voted instead of approved.
and
Okay.
then to take the Center Street site policy.
Voted, okay, to take the Center Street, okay. To take the Center Street site off the table. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay? And then we did, oh, we didn't
So I
vote.
make a motion to accept the minutes of 11:9 as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the Public Safety.
Okay. The same wording as always?
As always, changed
So I
date
make a
time.
motion, we accept the minutes of November 18th of the Board of Selectmen meeting with the Public Safety Building Committee. Make a motion, these minutes be accepted as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And one abstention.
Correct. All right. So we are signing documents and
She reads this.
and then we'll be done. We did start with an executive session, so if we look a little bit tired, we have a good excuse.
Did you second the public safety one? I'm sorry.
Yes, I second.
Yeah, and I recuse myself because I'm not in those, involved with those.
Pass these. Any last words from anyone?
Anyone, anyone?
Do we have any warrants from our office? These are all.
Maybe next week we should talk about our meeting schedule for
Oh,
the holidays too.
Okay.
If we're,
take a month off?
Just, just to clarify.
Actually, we did end up with 2 Mondays off in a row, and you know what? The best I can tell, everything went okay.
It did go okay.
Are you trying to make the members of the media go broke, or?
No, not at all.
Okay, so we will, we know we'll be meeting next week,
Right.
and we'll make the rest of the schedule after that. So we do have these to sign. Well, I guess we shouldn't adjourn until we make sure there's nothing there of concern.
Okay, this is, looks like it's from Lynch, Malloy, and Marini. They're the ones that did the, our audit.
Audit,
So you need to sign this mark
yes.
on behalf of the board.
This is the yearly audit engagement document. Signature on behalf of management. That couldn't. Signature on behalf of Board of Selectmen.
Tara still has a.
Yeah, that's
copy machine,
interesting.
I think.
I'm gonna sign the Board of Selectmen piece.
Could be it's either
Trying to grab
or.
from you about council meeting. I wouldn't mind an actual
There's the national grid.
Okay, and then these are just
This is
town council.
new.
Yep.
Okay,
That is
so
the
I
new
need to
one.
take a look at that.
Now, I don't know
The
if,
thing is, this has on it, the O'Neill property donation, that would,
Open space.
come out of the CPC grant to open space, if I'm not mistaken.
all right, maybe we should hold that one then.
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
And then there's another one that might
open
be,
space CPC, question mark.
police.
Blue Wave, no, the police we pay.
We do pay? Okay.
And actually, I don't know if this, well, the last bill was very substantial on
Yeah, it's
that.
that's there.
No, and there's,
Oh, there's a larger one after
there's
that?
5,000 more,
Ouch.
preparing for the thing we talked about earlier. $5,000.
Okay.
So I think we can sign this. Bree, there's the $1,000 in this that was part of the O'Neill property donation that should be subtracted from this and go to open space.
Was that the new one or the one I had from before?
This is the one,
From before, I believe.
Okay, if you look, I think I've subtracted that amount from it already.
no, this one looks like the new one.
What's the
What's
date
the
on it?
total on that?
No, this is, it's the same.
Yeah, so it wasn't
Okay,
subtracted.
so that's a new, that's a total new one.
Yeah,
Oh, is it a new one? Okay.
yep.
I did one today, and then there was one from.
Yeah.
This one was received November 30th, which
Yeah.
is today.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't know about that, but there was another one from before and I subtracted
Yeah,
that.
and we did that. And that
Okay,
one was
so
done right.
subtract there
So
again?
we're gonna have to subtract that. I guess maybe we should
I
wait
can
until
wait.
next week to,
I can work that
you can mark it out.
out. I can like change.
Change the amount.
Yeah, I think maybe,
Just wait.
I think we better wait a week.
Okay,
Okay.
sure,
Yeah.
I'll change that
Just
one.
throw it in here, let me, just go, read. Okay,
good.
all right, actually, you guys have
More
to sign the rest of them.
signatures
Getting tired.
That one goes here, that one's done.
You know, the Carver Board of Selectmen, this one is the first payment from Comcast to our franchise fee and our capital dollars for the year to the Tri-Town Studio.
Okay.
To the fruition of 3 years of hell.
Yeah, a lot of work.
I understand that the Carver Board of Selectmen frequently meet like for 4 hours.
I believe it.
I don't know how they do it.
It's a totally different, so it's
effort put into it.
But they meet every other week, don't they?
I think they meet less frequently,
Yeah.
and they have a town manager to deal with a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're on the verge of saying goodnight.
Mean good night.
Beautiful. So, thank you everyone for attending, and actually we got a whole bunch of work done, and very appreciative of everyone that came in and helped us along the way. Appreciative to staff, appreciative to the public media. So, thanks all, and I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yay!
Good night.
Good evening.
Yeah.